Hey, how's everybody doing? My name's Nicholas Pristina. I'm a fourth generation plumber working on creating new generations and bringing the trade team stars to light and teaching kids that not always college is always the pathway, that working with your hands from a young age is a way to build a future, not only for money reasons, but there's a career in it. And what's going to happen is you're going to have that skill for a whole lifetime. And I want to provide the tricks and the trades to provide the youth a little quick start on what's going on. So now let's take a look inside and see what our plumbing shop looks like, where we're at every day. A lot of the stuff these days is all copper. We're cutting it all out and replacing it with new material. You got your hot water heater, which produces the hot water with the natural gas. We're fully stocked with everything in the shop to provide, our guys that we have on staff, getting them out there, building houses, serving the community, building, custom bathrooms and kitchens, and also, fixing leaks and fixing drain lines. It's something that we take for granted when we flush the toilet. We don't really know where it goes, so
Yeah, and
I
you're
want to
located
bring
in
that to light.
Massapequa, right?
We're in Massapequa. We've been out
Right.
here for, 35 years. 1990, my father started in Long Island. We were originally doing work in East New York and Brooklyn, serving, the apartment complexes out there and the brownstones and all those other kinds of things, where they had old material like galvanized that was, for the water pipes. We even had, everything was all cast iron. So nowadays everything's all PVC and copper and PEX. They're all the main materials that we're working with on the daily.
So in making trade team stars, you're trying to highlight the trades and promote the next generation
Yeah.
of taking on these skills that are highly needed.
Yeah,
right?
the skill set is very expansive. There's many avenues you can go into: water filtration, you can go into heating and cooling, and you know, uh, building construction, anything from apartment complexes. We see in everything building up, and everything is phasing away from like oil and pollutants now to cleaner burning fuels like natural gas. One of the really important things about plumbing is being organized. There's always going to be a material list. There's always going to be paperwork and jobs that we need to keep track of. We got one of the machines that have been in the family for 40 years at least, the pipe threading machine. That's going to help screw things together and put together pipes and the gas and the waters. So let me take you in the front and I'll show you the front end of it, where we spend our time working with the office staff, getting everything filed and permitted. There's always a large amount of material laid out everywhere.
And a lot of history in all this space here as well, right? Some
Yeah.
fun little mementos for sure, right?
Yeah. One of the things that catches up my eye is something that my great grandfather used to work with my grandfather. This is a little kerosene torch that you would pump and burn and braise and mold lead with. If we used it today, it's kind of a fire risk and a hazard. So one thing in plumbing is about safety. You can always get hurt on the job, and injuries are really quick and happening in a quick, before you know it. You got to be careful, and it's all about having like hard hats and keeping your hands clean and wearing dust masks. So I do want to bring to your attention something that is really important in our family that we've had since 1928. My great grandfather's original New York City master plumbing license.
Wow, that's cool. All right. So
You know?
how much was that license in? What year was
So
that
in
again?
1928, the fee was about $5. Yep.
What does
And
it look like nowadays to get in?
nowadays, you're going to have multi-jurisdictions across for Nassau County, for example. I think my father holds about 23 different jurisdictions of licenses that all require one to take an exam. You got to do 7 years on the book. You got to study a 150-page code book. You got to know how to pass the exam. You're looking at, 60 questions on multiple choice. You got to be able to do schematic drawings, be able to read prints, as well as, also, putting together the material in the supervision of the plumbing examiner's board.
So in the books here, do you see laying out some of those little things like, this exam, these tests, like you could start, just preparing your mind for things like this at a young age, right?
Yeah, I believe that there's shortcuts to everything, and I'm thinking that with my kind of experience and also joining together with my college and everything, I'm looking to create a streamlined path for people to get involved in the trades, earning while they're learning and getting, a good baseline to, shortcut the learning curve. Because at the end of the day, 7 years is a long time to commit, and it's important to be on the books. So, on the books, you got to navigate that. You're working 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. They're long days, backbreaking. So it's really important to maintain your health and your wellness, as well as, being aware of your surroundings, because, you could just easily trip over everything or anything. And, this is where all the magic happens, where my father, he does his business all day, talking on the phone with new clients, existing contractors, and working alongside his wife.
Oh, wow. Who's that guy right there?
Yeah, you're looking at me in 2023, graduating from New York City College of Technology. I spent 7 years working as a full-time plumber and studying at night school for a facilities management degree, as well as in environmental controls, which gave me the knowledge to work in the city as an operating engineer, maintaining the refrigeration plant as a licensed machine operator, doing the cooling for large facilities.
Wow. Jeez. Yeah, so that's the thing. There's so much variety in all of the the skills. The sort of the levels that you could get at are so deep, right?
Yeah, no, you really can take it to, the end of the horizon. There's, endless opportunities. The demand is ginormous, and then it's also important to have, hobbies and stay involved. My grandfather wasn't only a plumber, he was an artist.
Oh, wow.
So he would do drawings with the pencils. He was also...
Let me see that real quick again. Wow. Nice. That is cool, dude.
Yeah, so plumbing for me is an art.
Yeah.
Working at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, I really learned the significance of history, from somewhere that was around for 150 years. He would also paint on mushrooms from nature, a guy who was involved in, hunting and fishing. And
this is like a big, I guess, what do they call it? It's not a turkey tail, right? It's
a tree mushroom
like
that they
one of
dried
those tree
out.
mushrooms.
He would, paint and do his artwork on stuff like that,
That
and
is
all
cool.
kinds of
That's cool, right?
art mediums.
Yeah. Dude, you got a couple up there. Wow.
Yeah. My grandpa Sonny, he really was quite an artist.
Oh, whoa!
He really did all kinds of
Dude,
work.
that is sick.
Nice. So yeah, this is where we make the magic, and we're working on building a future for the next generation. So it's important for me, because I had the direct supervision working with my father. So I know that, direct supervision and training is very important. That it's not about how long it takes. It's about, guiding the youth and giving them the time to focus on building those skills.
Yeah.
And getting a chance to do it with their hands on, instead of, being a runner and getting things, out of the truck where you're not learning anything. So I'd really like to develop, a learning curve for people to, be excited about, and also, find their time well spent.
And so in the series too, you're imagining with the trade team stars that it's not just about yourself. It's not just about the plumbing. You want to highlight other trades as well.
Yes, yes. So, being on a construction site, you get to see, a variety of trades from, electricians to guys doing air conditioning. You get to see guys doing landscaping. So building a house has a lot of pieces together. And it's all about, having a team to build something big and make something great. So I'd like to introduce you to a collaboration as the author, myself, working on, our green gardener, and showing how, it's not just about, going to school and focusing on sports. It's all about, spending time with family and learning and gaining skills that, are going to be around for your lifetime.
Yeah.
Because
So this
homeownership isn't the easiest thing. So that's why they call me as a service member.
Yeah, yeah. So this first character here is that we worked on. So this is really cool, going through the process of not only coming up with quick ideas, right? Collaborating together and then coming up with quick ideas, but collaborating also with people online where we could easily take something that you're inspired by and then bring it into something that'll help other people, right? With the Buzzcut the Gardener. Wow, by Pristina. Nice. All right. And it was like, so Buzzcut's introducing Buzzcut there. And so we were working with an artist online, Barbara, right? In taking this Nick's idea here and then creating, instead of just using like an AI artwork, working and the trades of the arts as well, and giving people the opportunity to take our idea and then develop something that's really cool, really fun and exciting, laying out the process of doing green landscaping.
Yeah, so I mean, it doesn't start after high school. It starts from a young age, and that's why we're focusing on a book series to educate the youth from a young age, and give them a chance to gain some momentum and, find an interest in something.
Really
Instead
cool.
of, just being in technology, getting outside and working together with family and friends and, observing things.
Wow. So all this here in the Buzzcut, right? We're working on, as the trade team stars, coming up with a full kind of list, a backlog of testimonials, right? In encouraging people to get into the trades, as well as those tips and tricks that come with each of those trades. So to kind of inspire and create like characters that, bring hope and bring fun and joy into working with your hands. Right.
Yeah, it's very rewarding being able to see something start from the ground and bringing it to the, the framing and the roofing and the siding and everything that's involved in helping, bring people to light on their, passions after, struggling maybe to feel like they're not, cut out for the school life, that there is a future in the plumbing industry. Right. In the HVAC, in the electrical industry, in the landscaping.
Yeah. All right.
So this is our storefront. We've been out here, for 8 to 9 years, working with the community, developing relationships and helping, young people get involved in the trades and training them directly. And I want to just welcome everybody, to keeping an open mind to, getting their hands dirty, cutting their hands, bumping their heads, it's just going to build character, and we're just going to have a good time, and we're going to learn, and, these quick little tips I didn't just learn overnight. It's just that with years and years of experience since I was a child working with my dad around the house, I kind of saw that, it's not about getting to high school and then deciding, it's kind of about deciding from a young age where you want to go, tinkering with things and making your own little projects.
Really cool.
So I just want to thank you all for visiting our shop and seeing what we're all about.
All right. Thank you so much, Nick. And look forward to seeing some more of the sample books coming out as we develop these projects and kind of build in open how we're going to inspire the next generation of makers, builders, and so build up this country, you know, take on the trades of the United States.
Yeah, the infrastructure's aging, and we need you know, more labor, and you know, before we know it, you know, everything's gonna be way out of price just for new construction, you know. So it's important that, you know, with the increasing volume of labor, there's going to be less labor shortages, which means projects are getting done quicker and on time and under budget.
Really cool. Well, thank you so much, Nick. And well, we'll be showing little clips of at the end of how some of the development process of the books and our plans for the coming Trade Stars universe. What do you call it?
Looking forward to
universe?
it.
Yeah, like
it's
Trade Star site, right?
Whole community. It's going to be
Yeah.
very youthful and energetic, and you know, there's a lot of passion in it.
All right. Thank you so much, Nick. All right. Peace out. Have a wonderful day.